Hello, my friends, my family, esteemed colleagues. I was asked to talk a little bit about herpes and addition to this, to mention something about hepatitis C. Now it may look kind of different topics, but actually it makes sense because we are told that both of these diseases are related to viruses. So when we talk about herpes, we call it simplex 1 or 2, being it the one on the lips or the genital. What are we talking about? We are describing a symptom. And what happens when we have a symptom? We right away blame some intruder is causing a problem. Now, what are symptoms of hepatitis 1, for example? On the lips starts first to itch. Then they get a little bit reddish, and all of a sudden blister starts appearing that is painful. Okay, so what is happening when inflammation starts? Local inflammation. First, it becomes sensitive, kind of itchy, then becomes reddish because there's high concentration of blood there, bigger pressure, becomes more painful, and if it's skin, usually appears a blister. Now, what are these blisters? They are serum, lympha, which is toxic. I've explained when we are being sunburned that more toxic our skin is, bigger pleaks are going to be. So if you see someone that got burned and has these huge pleaks with liquid on it, well, that individual is extremely toxic. Smaller blisters, less toxicity. No blisters, no toxicity to speak about. Now, can person or individual, let's skip the person crap, if individual is toxic and has a big blisters after sunburn, can this individual become less toxic and in the future, if it's exposed again to a strong sunlight for extended time, end up having smaller pleaks or no pleaks at all? Yes, as long as you cleanse. You have to cleanse the blood, and you have to cleanse at least slightly on a cellular level to decrease the level of toxicity. Because I have explained that any sudden change in the environment is going to make body and the cells cringe. By cringing, the cell will expel some of this liquid. Now, if liquid is toxic, this toxicity ends up in lymphatic flow or goes into the blood. But if it's in the skin, definitely it goes in lymphatic flow. And if it's toxic, body always tries to eliminate toxicity the easiest, most convenient way. So why, if it is toxic, why to now go through lymph and go into lymph nodes, try to deal with it and push it in the blood and then cleanse it through kidneys or mucosal tissue, if it can right here push it out through the skin? I've explained that people who have a cancer, skin cancer, breast cancer, a tumor that is close to the skin, instead of reabsorbing it, what happens? Skin breaks and it gets inverted and the tumor is being pushed out during the healing process. Of course, doctors know very little about it because they never heal. They don't know what healing means. They basically try to poison the thing and later on surgically remove it because they don't understand nothing about taking body's ability to take things apart and dissolve them and eliminate them. We are being blindfolded through medical school. So we absolutely do not understand the body. And it's a shame that only these brainwashed individuals have a permit to work with toxic, sick people, because they definitely cannot help. So if we have the symptom of disease, infection, because we always say something happens, you have blisters, you have a cough, you have dark urine, burning sensation by urinating, you have a fever, you have diarrhea. This is all caused by intruders. These are some parasites, some pathogens causing this, and then right away, if you have this blister, if blood is analyzed and bacteria is found, what bacteria caused that? Yeah, an antibiotic, poof. Well, if bacteria is not diagnosed, found, look for another culprit, which could be fungus. If this was not diagnosed, it's virus. Now we are sure it's virus. The only reason why we know it's virus is because we have a symptoms of infection and we don't have any other culprit. Because there is no such a test that we can diagnose a virus. We have never found one. It's just imaginary thing. We have to find the blame. So, if it happens on the lips, so what happens? Little itchiness, and you know right away, it's gonna come out. And of course that becomes painful, 2 blisters come out. Why? Because this area of a lip is toxic. Now, when we talk about toxicity, I often mention, forget about disease. Go into quantum, connect it with a vibration. Because everything that you see, everything that you feel and experience as your reality starts first as a vibration, and then brain processes it so you see it in this particular way. So let's skip the brain, let's just go directly to frequency. So everything is electromagnetic field, everything is energy. And we are just particular frequency within this energy. And we are composed on many different frequencies because every cell has its own, every tissue, every organ, and we as whole have specific frequency that differentiates us one from another. And when this frequency gets out of tune, it's like an orchestra and one instrument and one string gets out of tune. Well, brain right away projects it to you in the way it is programmed, and you see it as a failure of something. And if we are talking about herpes 1, we are talking about lip. So first, there is a specific frequency of a lip. And this is why once when you get herpes on a lip, you can only transfer it to the tissue that vibrates with the same frequency. And it usually stays right here on the same part of the lip. It doesn't even switch from one side to the other. It stays on one side. It may start getting bigger, but why it's getting bigger? Because your toxicity is increasing. Now, what is this? What is causing this problem? Well, you have inherited a particular frequency that is very closely vibrating to your lip, but it's slightly off. Let's say the whole body is orchestra, and your eyes are pianos, your ears are trumpets, your lip is violins. And now, one violin, which is right here, has now something came and pulled the knob off and made one string out of tune. So you have this frequency, there is imprint, another frequency that is vibrating, that is like the violin, but it has this off-tune string. Now, as long as your voltage is high, and remember, voltage is our immune system. White blood cells are just the garbage disposal system. But your immunity is immunity to change the frequency. And the stronger voltage you have, the more stable frequency you have, which then cannot be changed if this little off-tune thing is poking there. It could be toxin that came with the food, it could be toxin that came through medication, but in this particular case of herpes, it's electromagnetic imprint of the frequency that came from somebody else. Somebody kissed you who had this frequency, and it will only come to the same part of the lip. It will not come even to the other part of the lip, because it's exactly this particular violin that it can affect, because it has this frequency that is same as but slightly off tune. And as long as your voltage is high, this off-tune violin is there, but it cannot swing the sound. It cannot touch your frequency because your high voltage is remaining strong, tuned vibration. But then something happens and the voltage drops. And we know it. If you have this off-tune violin in there, it's imprint in your magnetic field, because we are electromagnetic. We have our aura, everything is about electromagnetism. What we call the electron cloud around the nucleus of atom, we are talking about electromagnetic field that this nucleus is producing. There is no electron, there is no particle going anywhere. And this is why it's everywhere at the same time. It's this auric field. We have the auric field. Like if you are the core of an atom And then your electrons, your auric field, is around you. It goes depending on your voltage. It is going to go from half a meter to 15 meters or 20 or 30 meters. And the higher voltage, the bigger aura, the more difficult it is to shift it. So if you have this, you've gotten this imprint that is lingering in this spot because it resonates with it. So your resonance is maintaining it. And you are resonating wrong, slightly, because there is toxicity in your body. So this off-tune frequency that was given to you by close proximity of someone who was harboring this off-tune violin, now it's lingering in your auric field, in your energetic field. And because it's violin, it cannot go into your ear, into your eye, into your nose, into your liver. It is violin that is in your lip. So you need stress to drop the voltage. Now the stress could be you get exposed to rain and you shiver a little bit. Oh, and bingo, there goes herpes comes out. Because this shivering, this put a drain of your electrical sources, voltage drops, and now this off-tune violin goes and screws up the sound of the lip orchestra. And what happens? If the cells are toxic, and they are toxic because otherwise they would maintain the voltage. They cannot maintain the voltage because the brain is not sending it there, because brain got now busy with this adjustments to the new frequency, and your cells cannot maintain the voltage because they are acidic, and they change the vibration. But this shriveling creates release of some of these toxins. They come into the plasma, they come out of the cell. And right away, the body is trying to get rid of them. And since you are acidic and toxic because your cells are dehydrated. So since body now has difficulty to work with it, it immediately creates inflammation. And this inflammation pushes some liquid into the cells so they can cleanse better. And more stuff comes out, and more liquid came, and here comes the bubbles. And they are toxic bubbles from your cellular toxins that have been released. So, more toxic you are, and this is why, first, when you get the virus, it can immediately come strong if you are very toxic on cellular level. Or it can be less in intensity if you are less toxic. But once when you get this frequency, it's an electromagnetic imprint, it stays there. So, and it will be always affecting you when your voltage drops. So, how to deal with this? Well, if you cleanse the cell, then when this voltage drops, number one, it will not drop like this, because if the cell is cleansed, it will maintain the voltage because it has proper acidity. It is not, cells are not acidic, so they can hold the charge. So they can maintain the vibration, and it cannot be strained. And even if something, big drop of energy happens, and yeah, some toxins can come out, but there are no toxins in the cell, so they cannot pollute anyway. So once when you cleanse, the herpes is not going to show up. But you can also eliminate this frequency. And how do you eliminate it? By retuning it. Now, what can retune this frequency? Well, another frequency. I have noticed on myself, because I had herpes 1 very strong. It was getting worse as year went by. And when I start cleansing, I also start using the Beck's blood electrifier. And after about 2 weeks using it, all of a sudden I got this itchy feeling, and I said, herpes is gonna come. And then all of a sudden it came into discoloration, it became different color, appeared here, a little darker spot. And I said, well, this is interesting. What has happened? Well, the frequency shifted. And now, brain shows it to you in a different manner. And since the frequency has shifted, it's not the same anymore. After this event, my lip, the herpes 1, never showed up again. Never. This discoloration slowly went away as I was cleansing, and this herpes never ever returned. I don't have it anymore. So, herpes 1 we know now very easily. We know even the instrument that gives the correct frequency to shift this frequency, to retune this out of tune violin that we have inherited. And you can even be toxic, and this is not going to come out anymore. Herpes 2 is a different, because it's not violin. It's violoncello. Okay, so yeah, it's a vaginal, but it's the mucosal tissue that also vibrates within our mouth. So it can be vaginal, or it could be inside of a lip. Not outside, but inside, on the side. Okay. How do we deal with this? Well, Beck pulsar does not have the frequency to fix violoncello. It's a violin frequency. I don't know what is the frequency for this one, but it does not matter. If you cleanse your cells, then they cannot take out any garbage, and you are not going to have any blisters, and you are not going to even have any itchiness, because there will not be a need for inflammation. So even if this frequency is lingering there, it is not going to be causing any visible problems. And in time, if you really cleanse well, you cleanse even this frequency. So you get rid of it. All my clients healed from herpes 1 and 2. 1 very fast, 2 takes a little time, but within 2-3 weeks, if you had it every month, if you had outburst, all of a sudden it happens once every 6 months, and then once a year, and then only when you are in very critical stage, mentally, some shock, really low voltage, and after that it disappears altogether. So you can cleanse it because it's a frequency. First you cleanse your cells of their garbage, and then continue, because you are going to cleanse everything, including emotional frequencies. And this is more and more obvious now with clients that I have. Almost everybody is, after the initial cleansing of the blood of toxic elements and cleansing the cells, immediately you go into emotional cleanse. And how do you know you are cleansing emotionally? Because in the dreams, and doesn't even have to be dream, you can just relax and all of a sudden you have this vision of experience you had sometimes in your life that you even forgot about, and now you remember, oh yeah, that was bad, because you are cleansing, it's all coming out. How come that you are cleansing then? Because you are drinking minerals, you are taking all the minerals of this planet. They are crystals, and each crystal has particular vibration, and we are made from the same vibrations. So you are just tuning them. You are bringing the real right crystal, right frequency, because crystal, again, brain shows it to you as a crystal, but actually it's the frequency. And part of your body is made of this frequency. So you're just retuning everything. You are retuning your body using salts. They are fastest way. If you have shamanic help, working one-on-one, you heal faster. But you have to pay for this. So far, I have a good friend shaman, but you know, we all need money, and they just don't want to work unless they are paid. I made contract with Creator that I'm going to do my work no matter what. So Creator always provides. And thank you, those of you who are selfishly helping, because it makes my life easier. And we continue helping other people, not only through education, but also financially. So now when you understand herpes a little better, it's just a frequency. Now, why you get it if somebody has the actual symptoms and you don't get it if the symptoms are away? Because this frequency is very, very mild, light. And when it gets into your body and your body energy is high, but it does not support, this frequency cannot really affect it because of high voltage, no problem. But when voltage drops, this frequency affects it, and now your violins, all of them here, are playing the same off-tune sound. The vibration is stronger. And this strong vibration makes it possible now to affect the auric field of another individual if you come close enough. You don't even have to touch if you have really strong outbursts. And if his auric field is very weak and it doesn't reject, it absorbs, it allows it to penetrate, it can stay embedded. So just a close proximity. It doesn't have to be even liquid on liquid. And this is very obvious with the flu season. When people start getting flu, Well, it is enough to be in close proximity of the one that has the flu, and you may start resonating same way. Your body goes in crunching, and here you get all these symptoms of a flu. This is obvious now also with the jabbed people, because their voltage is powering now the toxic element from the jab, the graphene. So their body becomes now the amplifier. You come close to it and your energy gets affected, and you get the same symptoms because it's the same vibration, and your body reacts the same way. It starts to squeezing it, and you get symptoms of detox. The more toxic you are, the stronger symptoms you have, even though you did not actually get the particles in. So you move away, you cleanse, and you are fine. So now when you understand what is this virus, we are talking just shift of frequency. Where does the hepatitis C goes to? How does the hepatitis C relate to this? Well, we are being told hepatitis C is caused by virus. So symptoms, we always go first to symptoms to see, okay, so what are the symptoms of this disease? So bleeding easily, okay. What is the easiest way of releasing toxins from a blood if the blood gets really very saturated? Through bleeding. Women, through menstruation, but may not be time for menstruation. Well, nosebleed. And you are eliminating toxic blood. So, bleeding easily, browsing or bruising easily. So, why would you bruise easily? Because your tissue is fragile. Why it's fragile? Because it is acidic, it lost attention, it's low on voltage, it's toxic. Your blood vessels are more fragile. They can bleed easier. All this creates symptoms of bruise. Fatigue, well, we know already. You are low on voltage, on cellular level, you are fatigued, no energy. Poor appetite, when body is toxic, you are sick, toxic. Whenever you are sick, you don't feel like eating much. Okay, now, yellow discoloration of the skin. Well, you know, if you have problems with liver, obstruction, you may have jaundice. You have a seepage of bilirubin. So, okay, that's the only symptom of liver so far. Dark color urine. When do we have dark urine? When we are low on blood, low on plasma in the blood. Then kidneys cannot properly work. They have to save water, and they will wait for concentration of urine to become concentrated, so there is more garbage in there, more toxins, before taking them out. And these toxic elements make urine darker and smellier. And it can even be filled with acids, which can make your bladder burning. and burning sensation, dark urine, bingo! Right away antibiotic, because they say, oh, it's a bacteria. Yeah, you may have bacteria there, because bacteria may say, wow, what a great medium for me to eat. Plenty food. But it's not causing any of it. It's the toxic elements. Okay, what else do we have here? Itchy skin. What will cause skin to itch? Inflammation of the skin, low-grade inflammation. Increases slightly the pressure. You may look a little puffier and itchy before it turns into pain or into crusts or bleeding and bigger problems like seborrhea because of toxic damages. But first starts with itchiness. Fluid building in your abdomen, bad blood circulation, toxicity, toxin being pushed in periphery. So far, I don't see anything that would be caused by any virus or bacteria or fungus. Weight loss. Of course, you are toxic. Nothing works right. Drowsiness, confusion, slurred speech. Yeah. Toxic blood. Toxic cells. Toxic brain. You are in fog. Well, spotted like blood vessels. So you get this you have blood vessels becoming visible and they look like a spider net. Why? Because it's a local inflammation of blood vessels, possibly breaking of arteries, spreading some blood around as well. This indicates damages of blood vessels, which later on are going to create kidney problems because kidney has the same blood vessels, and when blood vessel has a problem, kidney has a problem of eliminating toxicity, so kidney disease is imminent. So nothing that of these symptoms would indicate anything specific about liver with except the jaundice. And all these symptoms are symptoms of general toxicity of the blood. My wife, when she was a child, I forgot what she said, about 9 years old, I think, she contracted strong hepatitis C. She was taken to hospital, liver was hurting, and she was diagnosed with her hepatitis C and given antibiotics, but her grandmother says, no, 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 no antibiotics, and she took some. She's Venezuelan, so from jungle, some herbs. She lived in village Caripito in a remote area. And grandmother put some herbs on her stomach and wrap it up with, I think, banana leaves and some stuff, and deprived her salt and gave her drink some stuff. And in 1 week she was cured. Healed, not cured, healed. Because she went back to a doctor to check and everything was fine. So doctor, instead of asking, okay, wow, grandma, tell me something, what do you do? Huh? No, doctor said, it's brujeria. Brujeria means like um, uh, how do you say it in English? I forgot. Some devil's work. Well, it's all changing. It's all about changing the frequency. And you can do it with plant also. If you know which plant to use that will vibrate in with the resonance that is necessary, you are going to also offset the problem. So plants can be used, medicinal plants, 1 week, no longer. But again, if you don't know, you don't have the wisdom, we have lost this touch. Cleansing with sea salt and water, with sea plasma, and you will have the same result. May take a little longer than a week, but you are going to cleanse and you are going to heal, guaranteed. Only when you are dealing with minerals to do the healing, then you also have to make sure that they are being transported into the cells themselves, which may not be easy if you don't understand that there are many things that can prevent cells from hydrating, absorbing these minerals. And most of these toxins are embedded in plants. So you have to be careful how you eat. This is why Self-Healer's protocol guides you, exactly tells you how you have to eat so you don't interfere with cellular cleansing, and how you take plasma and the process, how it goes, so you hydrate and cleanse the blood, and when that's done, then the cells are going to take over and hydrate and cleanse, and you become bulletproof to any disease. Because once when your cells are cleansed and hydrated, they can monitor perfectly their acidity and adjust it to the optimum of electroconductivity. So this way the cells do not drop electric voltage even when you are under stress. Your brain sucks the energy, but not directly from the cell, because the cell has the power now to release some but maintain its voltage. Same like a battery. You have a car battery, you crank the car, you are using the power, you are cranking the car. But batteries still have voltage. You can crank multiple times and still will have voltage. And then you can put lights and still will have voltage. But if you don't have proper acidity in your battery accumulators, then you try starting one and battery is gone, because there is not proper acidity and there is no proper ionic action. You have either released all the electrons, or you release some and you cannot release the other until everything settles down, balances, because you don't have proper electric flow, not proper conductivity. Same is with our cells. We are electronic robots, and we are electromagnetic fields. So, how do we heal? Easily. Keep smiling, be happy, and you'll be healthy. If you are toxic, detoxify. If you have mental issues, well, you have to acknowledge them, deal with them, release them. Do not dwell on it. Don't hold them. And we tend to do this. How can I forgive him? You have no idea what he did to me. Well, if you cannot release it, if you insist that it stays in your body because you cannot pardon, well, you are not harming the person that you claim harmed you. You are harming yourself. And you always did. Because your hate towards someone is your creation. Because no matter what somebody does, you can just kiss it goodbye, or you can create emotional problem out of it. And this emotional problem is the off-tuned electromagnetic field that is staying in your auric presence, and it is affecting your daily life without you even knowing. You may have a knee pain and toxicity, you hydrate her, but still and you just change your thinking and knee pain goes away. Just a few days ago, my wife and I, we both were experiencing a dull pain in our leg. Actually, my lower back and both legs. And it was after this cleansing I was doing shaman helped me to release some toxicity and shamanic work, because when shaman aligns your frequencies, then your body has to expel them. And I got up with very bad stomach problems, and then I've noticed that the pain is going from upper part of the stomach, from stomach area into intestinal area, and then dropping lower, 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 lower. And when it was really low in the bladder area, then at night I had this pain. When I get up, I can walk and I don't feel nothing. But as soon as I lay down and I relax, this dull pain from lower back to both legs. And I couldn't sleep, hard time to sleep. So I went, drank a lot of plasma, because I felt it has connection with this heavy load in my lower abdomen. And I continue cleansing. The next day I had diarrhea, and I felt a little better the night later. And I drank again a couple liters of plasma in the morning and even at night, just to let it go. And all of a sudden my stomach felt good and no more pain. And not only this, but I noticed that I feel lighter, I feel clearer in my mind, and generally my body is much better, because we have this auric toxicity. It's like if you have the old-fashioned tape recorders with these little tape decks, and you have music there, and then you are listening to something, and by accident you push record button, and now you record over your music, and then you remember, oh no, you disconnect the recording so you don't damage what you have there already recorded, this music. And if you make several damages, then later on you start listening to the tape and you are enjoying the music, and then comes this distortion that when you are accidentally taping, and then it's music again and again. Well, this is what is happening in your body. You have created distortions of your field, electromagnetic field, and we call it toxicity. But this toxicity can be from the vibration that brain translates as chemical poison or food poison, or it could have been sound poison. It could have been your emotional outburst towards something that you harbor in your body because you cannot forget what somebody did to you. And whenever this energy shows up, it creates distortion. And your body will sense it, usually with pain. You can have back pain like I had, back pain, leg pain, has nothing to do with my cellular toxicity of something I ate. It was emotional release. I have no clue what I was releasing. Shaman knows. I have to ask him. But it was really crazy stuff. And my wife, too. Somehow, either I gave it to my wife or she gave it to me. Because when two people are close, the auric field merge. You are in, one is in each other auric field, electromagnetic field. And things very easily flow from one body to another body. And toxic energies get transferred. And when detox comes, if it's the same frequency, both bodies will feel it. It's a crazy new science. It's actually very simple. Once when you go into quantum and you talk about frequency, you understand it's frequency, it's detox, okay, pop, let's do it. But if you try to translate it into biochemistry, forget about it. There is no solution. Because not everything is being, not every frequency is being replicated by the brain or explained, manifested by the brain through particle. And if it's not a particle, we don't acknowledge that it exists. So pain, the only reason why we acknowledge that pain exists because we feel it individually. But you can tell me that you are in pain and I have to believe you because I have no ways of testing you that you have pain or you don't have pain. Now it is possible with very sensitive electromagnetic detectors to find this frequency. Now it's possible. But if you have this instrument, your phone can be programmed on it. You just have to have the right program to put in your phone to capture these frequencies, and then you can scan the person and know, you are lying, you are not in pain, or yeah, you are in pain. It's really very interesting now to be in science, because everything we have been told, now you see that it's such a stupidity, including the atom and the electron. And it's refreshing to actually start understanding why things are happening. So thank you for being here. Don't worry about hepatitis C, cleanse. Don't worry about herpes, 1 or 2, triplex, simplex, quadruplex, all it's the same baloney. It's toxic frequency that you can either cleanse or you can cleanse your cells so it cannot show any visible effects on you, and then it will be eliminated as well. If you need help, you can always contact me and I will guide you through it. Thank you for listening. If you have any other questions, any other topics, medical preferably, let me know. And if I know something about it, I'll make a video. Thank you. Till next time. Love you all.